Let's welcome our head men's basketball coach, Coach Thomas Gray.
Thank you so much. When we go on our recruiting visits and we're walking around campus, we walk up these stairs. We eat lunch with the recruits, and we walk up the steps. And I walk by this door. Usually it's locked, but if it's open, and I look in there, and I'll say to the recruits and their parents, this is where we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to this room, to this day, because I tell them all that Southwest is not the point. If you think Southwest is the end or Southwest is the point, then you're not for me. Because I think Southwest is a wonderful place that we can all use as students to reach that next step and continue our education. And so this day, even though this team had a lot of success, the most successful year this program's had in 53 years, this to me is the most exciting time, because I get to see these guys, or one guy in particular, realize his dreams and accomplish his goals of what we set forth when we came on this campus. Terrell Miller, who was a sophomore for us this past year, has chosen to go to Murray State in the Ohio Valley Conference. Terrell this past year averaged 15.7 points per game, averaged 9.5 rebounds per game. Both were team highs in points and rebounds. But more importantly, in conference play, which the latter part of the season, averaged 20.1 points per game and 10.5 rebounds a game, averaged a double-double. He was the first team All-MAC-JC state team. He was first team All-Region 23, and he was also named a member of the 2015-2016 NJCAA All-American team as well. Was a young man who came here, kind of went through a tough time his freshman year. Played a couple games at a school in Florida, suffered a tough situation, came here and has really got his academics on track. Is going to graduate and has taken and will have taken over 60 hours in 3 semesters. So really buckled down in the books through last spring and summer and this fall and spring as well. Has over a 3.0 GPA. Going into the spring semester, had right under a 3.5 GPA, which is significant. Which is not only means that he's a leader on the court, but also in the classroom. And like I said, he chose to go to school at Murray State. He had many options. I know we had the first day that Division I schools could come to our gym in September. 10 Division I programs were represented from all across the United States recruiting him. He had scholarships and interest from Kent State, Bowling Green, Arizona State, Ole Miss, Texas Tech, Florida Gulf Coast, among many others. And chose to go play basketball at Murray State, which is one of the, if not the top 2 or 3 premier mid-major Division I programs in the country, located in Murray, Kentucky. They've played in postseason the past five out of the past 7 years, making 2 NCAA tournaments and winning a game both times they made the NCAAs in the NCAA tournament, advancing to the second round. They've had 2 guys selected in the NBA draft in the past 3 seasons. In 2013, Isaiah Cannon, who's a Biloxi, Mississippi native, was drafted in the second round by the Houston Rockets. And last year, they had the 14th overall selection by the Oklahoma City Thunder, Cameron Payne, who was selected last year as well. Their head coach, Matt McMahon, is a wonderful guy. Represents everything that I want in a coach for Terrell, because I want to make sure he's taken care of. Is going to make sure he's leading the right way on the court, but more importantly off the court. He's a strong Christian. I believe faith is a must if you're going to do this job in the best possible manner. Matt is a guy that represents that, and I could not be happier for him as he is getting what I call a steal in Terrell Miller. So at this time, if Terrell will stand, and let's congratulate him on going to Murray State. And kind of on that note, the thing I'm most proud of about this guy and a lot of people remember this if you're at the state tournament, is he led us in a lot of different areas, but he fouled out in the state championship. We were up 17 points, and he goes to the bench And when a lot of guys would have sat on the end of the bench with their head down or a towel, thinking that that the rest of their career is, their junior college career is over, he became a fourth coach and was told maybe 4 or 5 times by a referee to sit down because he was cheering and coaching too loud. And so that's kind of the guy he is. He's all about others rather than himself. So Terrell, I'm happy for you, man, and I wish you the best. Kind of transitioning to 3 sophomores that are going to further their career that haven't made a decision yet, and we'll look forward to that announcement. Lafayette Rutledge, Chris McIntosh, who are here in attendance today, and Ladarius Pee Wee Simmons, all have visits scheduled from this point on, have yet to make their college decision, but all will go play at a 4-year school after their time here is done here in a couple weeks. And we look forward to hearing about those announcements. But moving forward to our incoming guys, obviously with 4 guys leaving, we have big shoes to fill. We have our 2 leading scorers walking out the door, and 2 of our biggest leaders in Chris and Pee Wee walking out as well. So not only production, but most importantly, character and leadership is walking out the door. So we're having to find that with our incoming guys. The first guy that we signed was a 6'3" guard out of St. Andrews Episcopal in Ridgeland, Mississippi, named Parker Prater. I've known Parker for a few years. He's a great kid. I've known his family. I'm actually really close to his family. Led his team in scoring this past year with 17.4 points a game, averaged 4.2 rebounds a game, and shot 52% from the floor. Most importantly, what you're going to hear about these guys that we signed, they all come from winning programs. I think winning is a habit, and Parker led his team to a 22-7 record this past year, which I believe is the most wins in probably over a decade for St. Andrews. So, and with him at the helm, they were in good hands. So we look forward to welcoming Parker Prater. The second guy we signed is Howard Smith, who is a 6'4" wing from Forest High School in Forest, Mississippi. He averaged 17.2 points at Forest. He averaged 10.1 rebounds, so averaged a double-double in points and rebounds, and shot 55% from the floor. He is a guy who does it all. He is a guy that if you talk about a guy who rolls up his sleeves and doesn't mind doing the dirty work, he literally in his press release when we signed him, he said, "I love going to get rebounds." And I don't know how many guys that I've signed that have said they love going to get rebounds. When the ball goes up, it's just something about it. He just wants to go get it. I actually saw him play a few times, and I felt sorry for the rim because he would go get rebounds and grab it and dunk it so hard. He's a big, stocky, great-looking kid, and we're excited about him. He's going to play multiple positions for us, just like Parker. His team as well was a winning team, a team that lost in the state championship. They lost in the final game in 3A. And unfortunately, their team actually, we're going to have to deal with this. Their team was the team that put Parker Prater's team out of the playoffs. So hopefully we may not room those guys together because of that. But they're both. He's coming from a great coach, Coach Perry Fletcher, who's a pastor in Forest as well, and a guy who's done a great job with his team and with Howard. And the final guy that we have to announce today that we signed is Jeremy Harrell, a 6'8" post player from Holmes County Central High School. He's from Pickens, Mississippi. And one thing about him, he has a size 15 shoe. So I don't know if he's done growing yet. He says that he wants to come here and be the next Terrell Miller. So I hope he's got big shoes to fill. Terrell just got mad with me saying that. But Jeremy at Holmes County Central averaged 16.6 points per game, 10.7 rebounds, averaged a double-double as well, 3.3 blocks a game, being that size, and had multiple offers and actually had offers from about every school in this state in junior college. And that's the same thing for Parker and Howard as well. They were at very high demand, and they chose to come to Southwest over at least 5 or more schools. Jeremy actually chose to come to Southwest over about 10 or so schools. So we're excited These are guys that want to be here, want to be on this campus, and want to be a part of this program that we have at Southwest. And I am extremely looking forward to bringing these guys and allowing them to be a part of our family. Much appreciation goes out to Coach Andy Farrell and Coach Mike DeBose. Coach Andy Farrell is actually not here because he's actually working, trying to fill those last few spots. So he's actually on the road in a Southwest car recruiting as we speak. Those two guys worked very, very hard to allow us to be able to sign these three guys, and I cannot thank them enough. And we really look forward to next season and are extremely happy for Terrell as he moves on. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Gray. Thank you, Coach Harris. We just have a few more minutes. We would like to give anybody an opportunity if they would like to ask a question. This is a press conference. If you have a question for our coaches, if Coach Stevens is here, any question about our athletic department, we would be glad to speak to that at this time. Any question to either one of our coaches about recruiting, about their program, or any question you may have for them at this time. I was going to ask Coach Gray. I know that we have a couple spots remaining for out of state, two more positions, and you're continuously recruiting there. So, as you can probably guess, this recruiting process is year-round. During the season, after the season, during the summer, they do take a few days off at Christmas, but usually they're at tournaments during the Christmas break. So. It's always something taking place, whether in the weight room, Coach Harris, if they're in the gym, if they're in the training room with some little nagging injury or something of that nature. They're studying, they're in study hall, recruiting. We have to realize that these two guys, along with our assistant coaches, work very long hours. They take it personal whenever the players come on campus. They try to take care of those guys and ladies. And we need to commend their families and their wives for allowing them to be away from the home day and night, actually. And we need to realize that. And I try to realize that as well in my position. Because we're all busy, but there comes a time where you need to stay home and take care of your own family. Even though I know your team, and these students are kind of our extended family, we need to take care of everyone around us. So thank you for your efforts and your continued commitment to this program. And that's what we have here. We just don't have two teams. We've got a program. And one good thing about it, the men's team and the women's team, they get along, they work together, they share facilities, they travel together most of the time, so they become very, very close. And they come to Southwest, they meet one another, and they develop lifelong friendships right here. And that's something that we can be proud of. Not just because they play ball together, but they work hard, they live together, they go to class together, and that's a special thing. That's a special experience that a lot of people do not have an opportunity to have. I do want to thank the parents, some of the parents being here, and families for being here. That's a special thing. You need to be proud of that as well. So at this time, we will be dismissed, and hope you all have a great evening tonight, and you're welcome at any time back on our campus. Thank you.